Welcome back, Doom Patrollers. It is so good to be back. 9 months later, we finally get the remainder of Doom Patrol Season 4. This has been one of the most disappointing things from the whole drama that's going on over at DC right now. James Gunn taking over and all that stuff. I mean, we got part 2 of Titans pretty much right away, but Doom Patrol Season 4, we got part 1. It started back in December of 2022. It's now October of 2023. 9 months later, we finally get the rest of Doom Patrol. And it's, again, it's been an extreme wait. And obviously the worst part was just the waiting. Like, there was radio silence. We had no idea when he was coming back. The only thing we'd heard since then was that the show was canceled and that it was ending with Season 4, just like Titans did. So we knew that this was going to be the end of the series. Season 4 was it. But where was Part 2? Now we finally have Part 2 on our hands right here. We got a 2-episode premiere that we just had on Max. And, man, I'm so excited. Also, like, Thursdays are probably, like, my new favorite day now because, in the mornings at 3 a.m., we got the drop of a new episode of Doom Patrol every week. Then at 9 p.m., again, Eastern Standard Time, we get a new episode of Loki and a new episode of Gen V. Then the next day, we got new episodes of the Goosebumps series on Disney+. Like, Thursday and Friday is just, like, TV time for me. So I'm so excited about this. Doom Patrol is an amazing show. It has been one of my favorite DC TV series ever. And it's such an underrated show. It's literally one of my favorite shows ever. Like, even aside from just being favorite DC, it is just one of the best TV series I've ever seen. What this show does with these characters, the character development, especially a team like the Doom Patrol. Nobody really knew the Doom Patrol before the show, and I've just fallen in love with these characters so much. And obviously I'm sad that this is going to be the end, but the showrunner has said that they've designed it to be an ending for the characters, for their stories, for this series. So I bet it will be a very satisfying conclusion. And these first 2 episodes with this Season 4 Part 2 premiere, it's definitely off to a great start. So we are, of course, going to be talking about both episodes here in this video. Episode 7, Orquith Patrol, and Episode 8, Fame Patrol. So if you haven't seen the episodes yet, again, go check them out on Max. They're fantastic. Not to worry, there is luckily a recap at the beginning of Episode 7, so I know I definitely needed that because, again, it's been so long, but it's so good to finally have this show back for these final episodes. So without further ado, let's jump into this and break down Doom Patrol Season 4, Episode 7, Orquith Patrol, which, of course, this episode, it basically jumps right in where we left off because Episode 6, it ended on a pretty big cliffhanger where we now have a couple of our characters on Orquith, this like alternate reality type thing where IMMORTUS is being risen, and it's not a great situation. We have Cliff and Jane. They are being held captive by these like scissor people, and we've also got Larry there. Let's see. Rita and Rouge, they kind of got their own thing going on in this episode, but it was really enjoyable though because their relationship has been probably one of my favorite parts of these past 2 seasons since Rouge's introduction last season. Just their dynamic and their relationship, how it's changed and grown. Obviously how Rouge betrayed her in the past and how they're trying to reconcile that now in Season 4. And this was a great episode for them to just like kind of talk it out, drink a bit. It was hilarious when they got to Orquith and they were both just extremely drunk. They were both insanely hilarious. That's one of the things I love about the show is that it can be very adult and very dark and serious and, tackle some very serious issues. But then at the same time, it can be absolutely hilarious as well. I was thinking about that when this episode first started and, they play that classic Doom Patrol intro, which like, it's so good. You can never skip it. But if you saw just that intro, you would think this is such a super duper serious, dark, maybe scary horror show. And I mean, the series definitely has its moments like that. But then again, you also have times where they're fighting zombie butts. So this show is just so diverse in what it can be. And one of the interesting things about this episode is Cliff's kind of temptation here with Immortus, because he's basically being presented with the powers of Immortus, and Cliff, as we know, he's dying, and he wants a future with his daughter and with his grandson Rory. That's why he still has the oven mitt on his hand, because the first thing he touches, well, at this point, technically, second thing that he touches, he wants it to be his grandson. And so when he's tempted with the power of Mortis, he gives into that, and he voluntarily gives up his longevity. And obviously that kind of pisses off the rest of the Doom Patrol, and we see the aftermath of that in episode 2. Well, I say episode 2, but really it's episode 8. But by the end of this episode, we get all of the Doom Patrol together in Orquith. I forgot to mention before, of course, Cyborg. Well, not Cyborg, man. Vic, because he's not Cyborg anymore, and his good friend Derek are there together. I'm loving their relationship as well. I'm really interested to see where Cyborg goes, because I'm pretty sure we saw in the trailers that he's going to go back to being Cyborg, but I'm really quite interested to see how they're going to ease him back into that, and what the transition will be, and what drives him to go back to being Cyborg. But I love him and Derek together here. The Terminator reference was pretty cool. That was fun. But all the Doom Patrol are together at the end of the episode, and now Immortus is rising. So Immortus has risen, he has been summoned, and when we get one of the things I've been interested with Immortus in this season is none of us have really known what or who Immortus is, because the closest thing in the comics is General Immortus. General Immortus is a member of the Brotherhood of Evil, but we knew this was going to be something different, and it definitely is different. So I was very curious to see what Immortus was. Like, when Immortus rises, what is he going to look like? And, well, let's just say that Immortus rises here, and Immortus definitely isn't exactly what I was expecting. Because when Immortus is revealed, it turns out to actually be Isabel Feathers, who, of course, is the actor who played the part of Blob Lady in the local theater troupe's production of Our Town back in season 1 in Cloverton. So this was so crazy. Like, it was such a big reveal. And at first, because, that was so long ago, I was like, wait a second, who, oh my God. Like, it was a crazy reveal. So, yeah, Isabel Feathers is back, and she is Immortus. And then she has these, like, crazy powers and does this, like, almost like sonic scream type thing, and it obliterates everything. And when that leads us into episode 8 here, of course, Fame Patrol, basically all the Orquith people, all the Immortus followers are dead, including Space Case, Casey Brink's father, who, of course, Space Case and Dorothy come back into the fold here as well. And now everybody's longevity is gone. It's really hitting Rita hard. I mean, her hair is like fully gray. It's turning white. But I love this. They have this like TV show called What in the World. And so Isabel Feathers goes on the show, and she's talking about how, like, she's been rescued and she's been saved and she's back and everything. And we keep getting these glitches throughout the episode of, like, where almost like the Immortus, like, demonic voice will talk over and she'll say something, but then she, like, reverses time. And for some reason, the only person that can remember is Rouge. Rouge has been the key to everything here. When we went to the future with the Buttpocalypse, she was the only one that was not involved there. And she's the team leader now. She is not having her loss of longevity or anything like that. So she really, I think, is the key to this season. And basically this all leads to Isabel Feathers getting a Rescue Day parade. But first, let's talk about some of our individual characters. Of course, Cliff, he's trying to figure out where that zombie butt is, because he put it in the freezer and then it escaped at the end of part 1. So that's not good. Let's see. Vic is Vic's kind of just tagging along with Rita and Rouge. Rita, of course, really hates Isabel. So they're investigating and everything. Jane sparks an interesting relationship with Space Case. And I believe there was something in the trailers that I think hinted at maybe a romance between those two. So I believe that's what's being set up there. That's definitely interesting and something I'm looking forward to seeing. Jane kind of came to that realization of her sexuality with the fog earlier in the season. So now that she's had that breakthrough, it seems like she's gonna kind of pursue that with Space Case and Casey Brink. So I think that's really exciting. Dorothy, of course, it's always great to have her back as well. But Larry, man, Larry is, I think, probably my favorite character in the show. Like, Larry is just such an interesting character and such a depressing character because, because of his bandages and his radioactivity, he can't touch anyone, he can't really be around anyone for too long. But now this season has introduced us to Mr. 104. And Mr. 104 makes his return in this episode. Apparently, he'd been obliterated into just like this energy stuff. And so now he visits Keeg and Larry and Keeg, working together with a little exposure of radioactivity, are able to bring him back into his physical form. And just, again, another romance that we know is being set up here, and it's very obvious in this episode. And it's just like some really cute moments here with the two of them together. Like, you can tell they really like each other, and just, I'm so happy for them because, again, Larry's biggest thing in this show has been he's a gay man, but even with that, even coming to reconcile with that and, kind of accept that, he still can't find love because of his condition. But now he's finally found someone that not only does love him for who he is, but actually can be around him without his bandages on, that actually can touch him. Like, they were holding hands and stuff, and man, and then, Rama was like saying like, oh yeah, no, you should go to the parade. So all of our Doom Patrol members, they end up going to the parade. And this was such an interesting thing because we've never really seen what the public thinks of the Doom Patrol, or if they really know that much about the Doom Patrol. But our Cloverton mayor, she loves the Doom Patrol, and she wants to give them the key to the city. So she says, Isabel, I'm going to give you the key to the city so you can present it to the Doom Patrol. And that really makes her mad quite a bit. And Rouge, she runs in last minute, tries to warn the Doom Patrol, specifically Rita. They're all up on the parade float. They're having a good time, all confessing their problems. Jane, of course, gets mad when Cliff is like, oh yeah, the zombie, but I kind of lost it. But anyway, yeah. So Isabel, she goes crazy and she does another sonic scream, and that is where the episode ends, which, man, what a cliffhanger, because we saw the aftermath and what kind of power that had and what kind of carnage that caused when she did that last time. But last time that was on Orquith. There was a lot of casualties and dead bodies because of that, but now we're in a very public space on Earth at a parade. Like, I can only imagine how many dead people there are going to be, and just, I don't know where this is going exactly with Immortus or Isabel Feathers or anything like that, but I'm really excited to see. Again, it's just great to have this show back. I love this show. And now we got weekly episodes for these final episodes of the series. I'm so interested to see where things go. It's just going to be so good. Well, one thing I did forget to mention is, of course, we did get a trailer a couple weeks ago, and I was going to do a trailer breakdown for Doom Patrol Season 4 Part 2, but I was sick at the time, so I couldn't really record a video. But man, I watched that trailer multiple times. I even teared up because it was a very, like, final season, like, series ending trailer where they really hit hard with that. So, like, I teared up a bit. Like, it was an emotional trailer. So I mean, like, even though Doom Patrol Season 4 Part 2 has already started, if you guys want me to still go back and do a trailer breakdown, because of course there's a bunch of stuff in there that we haven't seen happen in these first two episodes of Part 2, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll do a poll on the channel. We'll see. But again, I'm just so happy to have Doom Patrol back, and I love that I'm able to talk about it with you guys once again. So continue the conversation down in the comments below. Do you love Doom Patrol? What did you think about this 2-episode premiere of Season 4 Part 2? And how do you think things are going to end for these characters and for this story? So anyways, Doom Patrollers, thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.